stretch, and it's been a couple years since we've seen the lake freezing, at least like this.
So we have to remind you, it is extremely dangerous going out on the ice. We know it looks beautiful, but you cannot trust that out on Lake Michigan, okay? The currents, they act fast. So we go to ice from snow. A lot's going on here. Let's just get right to it and go check in with First Alert meteorologist Andrew Whitmire.
And Lauren and Josh, I'm going to be kind of blunt here. I mean, if you go out on that ice shelf, it's kind of like a death sentence out there. And here's why. One, you don't realize how far out the ice actually goes and how far out into Lake Michigan you actually are from the beach. And you also don't realize there could be these little divots, these little holes in the ice that you could just fall right on through. And before the rescue crews can even show up to the beach, you've already been again in very, very cold waters, hypothermia in a few minutes, and again can be quite deadly quite fast. So just enjoy the beauty of these ice shelves from the beach and you'll be okay. But again, stay off of the shelf ice. Want to show you this graphic here. This red line is typically where the average line is, where we typically should be for Lake Michigan ice. And on January 7th, only about 4% of Lake Michigan was covered with ice. And as of yesterday, now we're up to 20% of Lake Michigan covered with ice, almost right where we should be for this time of year with ice coverage on Lake Michigan. And we're going to widen this out and take a look at all of the Great Lakes here, all 5 Great Lakes, and total ice coverage right now on the Great Lakes, 21%. And again, Lake Michigan at 20% with the bulk of the ice right along the shorelines and across the southern mouth here of Lake Michigan. Let's take a live look at our First Alert weather camera overlooking St. Joe, and it's hard to tell where the ice ends. It seems like it just goes on for miles and miles and miles. Again, 20% of Lake Michigan currently right now covered with ice. Our First Alert weather day will continue through Thursday, not for the cold, but for the light snow and wind. We'll even have to watch out for some blowing snow at times tomorrow afternoon. Live look at First Alert weather radar. Most of us having a pretty quiet afternoon outside of 1 or 2 stray flurries. We widen out the map though, and we're watching what's around northern Illinois. This will begin to slide on into some portions of the area as early as 8, 9, 10 p.m. this evening. Helping you plan this out hour by hour with First Alert weather for you to track. Here comes the light snow as we head towards the second half of this evening. I'm thinking right now a quick dusting from that, just enough to make the roadways extra slick. And then tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. as we try to get the kiddos back into the classroom for tomorrow after a few days off from this dangerous cold, we're going to watch out and First Alert to a burst of snow moving on through some Michiana communities all the way through about the lunchtime frame. That'll cause additional slick and snow covered spots on the roadways where that snow burst does occur and move on through. And then we'll see the light snow ending as we head on into Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. So notice how much snow will fall between tonight and Thursday's First Alert weather day. Again, it's not much, but as we've seen in the past, 1, 2, 3 inches of snow. And that causes some big concerns out on the roadways. Most of us a quick dusting, 1, maybe 2 inches of snow, but we are going to watch from the bypass northward into southwestern Michigan for 1, 2, maybe even 3 inches of snow. So something we'll keep watching here in First Alert weather. Want to touch on the wind real quick before I let you go. Again, tomorrow we're going to have a wind out of the northwest, 10 to 20 miles per hour. We'll briefly cool down Friday. Friday morning, we could look at wind chills just below 0 first thing Friday morning. And then Saturday, once we get into Saturday, that's the big relief finally, and that's going to bring a big warm up. We have a 40-degree temperature now on the First Alert 10-day, and we'll show you that in about 6 minutes.